Twilight, the mayor's here to see you, Spike called, breaking her reverie. Twilight nodded, pushing away her memories and stretched, yawning. Oh, that's right, I forgot I had said she could come by this afternoon. Since her adventure had finished, she had been spending a lot of time helping the people of Equus rebuild and restore the town to its former glory. The current mayor often came by to discuss matters with her and get her opinion on the town's growth and prosperity. She pushed herself up out of the chair and stepped forward to go to see the visitor. Unfortunately, she landed on her bad leg and promptly lost her balance, tumbling to the floor with a cry as it gave out from under her. Spike was immediately at her side, followed by the mayor herself. "Twilight, are you all right?" Spike asked. Wincing from the pain, she took a deep breath to calm her frustrated nerves, and nodded. "I'm all right, Spike. I just bumped something, that's all." She looked up at him, feeling like an invalid, as tears of frustration started leaking from her eyes. "Miss Twilight, please," said the mayor. Twilight looked over at her familiar face and remembered when the grey-haired matron had first approached her for advice. "You need to take care of yourself." She sighed and allowed herself to be helped up. Spike grabbed her staff and handed it to her, and she rested her weight on it as she stood. I'm fine," she said in a tired voice. "Perhaps you would be more comfortable if we sat down?" the mayor asked with concern, gesturing towards Twilight's sitting area. "Sure, come on, Twilight," Spike piped up, guiding her over to one of her comfortable chairs. She allowed herself to be led, limping along resignedly, and he helped her settle into her favorite chair. "I'll go make some tea or something," he announced, rushing off to the kitchen. The mayor settled herself into a chair from Twilight. "He seems enthusiastic about helping you," she observed. Twilight smiled. "Yes, he always has been. A little over-enthusiastic at times, though. He does truly have your best interests at heart, Miss Twilight." Twilight sighed. "I know he does. It's just that sometimes I feel like a burden to him." She gestured to her leg and I have a hard time walking for long distances, so he helps me out there. He also does a lot of my errands for me, since I know my eye makes people uncomfortable. He spends so much time doting on me that it hardly seems like he has any time for himself. The mayor smiled. "Don't worry about him, Miss Twilight. He has more than enough time to himself. I've seen him often about town, talking with people and helping them with their projects. We all know that Spike is a wonderful young man and a great help to our community." She looked pointed at Twilight. "Just as we know that you are a wonderful young woman and the reason we are able to live in peace, regardless of how you look." Twilight smiled at her. Visits from the mayor often came with hints to come out of her shell and interact with the townsfolk more. "All right, I try to get out and talk with people more often. Just don't be surprised if it doesn't work out." "Miss Twilight, I think it will work better than you fear," the mayor replied. "If nothing else, Miss Cheerilee and Mr. McIntosh will be happy to see you." I know," Twilight replied. Spike returned to the sitting area with a tray containing cups of tea and some cookies. He set the tray on the table between them, and they both took a bite of cookie. "Spike, these are wonderful," complimented the mayor. "I must get your recipe." "Why, thank you," he replied, blushing. "It's been in the family for a while. I'll see if I can write it down for you." Twilight smiled as he watched him so happy. After she and the mayor finished their snack, they got down to business, discussing the town and further rebuilding options. The mayor often asked about how the town was set up in Twilight's old world and seemed satisfied enough with the answers to put some of the plans in place in their world. After a few hours of discussion, the mayor got up to leave, satisfied. "Now, Miss Twilight, please consider my advice," the mayor said as Twilight limped with her to the door, Spike at her heels. "Remember, we all know who you are and we respect you greatly. Do not forget that." I won't, she replied. I've just got a project on my own that needs finishing before I get too involved in something else. Ah, I see, the mayor replied. Well, good luck to you then. I shall see you later. Same time next week? Twilight nodded. Of course. The mayor swirled her cloak on and pulled the door shut behind her. Immediately, Twilight limped back to her desk and dove back into her memories as Spike looked on with a worried expression.